Well, Mother Nature decides it wants to get involved again. What's up, guys? Meow, and I'm back in the video. And today we have well, coming a little bit early, NASCAR Xfinity Series race review from Talladega. The race just got called due to rain, so we'll get to all of that momentarily. But before we begin, there's something else I would like to address first and foremost, and that is if you watched the ARCA race earlier today, there was a crash late in the race involving Derrick Lancaster over on the backstretch. Car ended up going up in flames. Eventually got down to turn 3, ended up in the grass spun, yada yada, whatever. It looked bad. He was able to get out on his own. He ended up on a stretcher, got brought to the hospital. And we got an update, or we got two updates, but I'm going to read the second one from his wife. She wrote, "I'll try to keep everyone updated. Right now, he's on a ventilator until they access the lung damage. He will be on it for at least 48 hours. Second and third degree burns to both arms, neck, and face. Nothing internal as far as breaks or bleeding. They will debride his arms, which basically means getting rid of the dead skin and such, and take him to trauma unit where I'll be able to lay eyes on him and touch him. He will not know I'm there, but that's okay. Please continue to pray. Please pray. He's been flown to University of Alabama. We're in unit just," and then praying hands emoji. So, scary situation there. Just keep Derrick in your thoughts, and hopefully he comes out of this okay. You may remember he had a wreck at Kingsport Speedway, I believe, last year. He ended up suffering, I believe, a broken neck. Now, apparently, he wasn't wearing a Hans device when it happened, but still, so if that's the case, then the fact that he survived that without a Hans device and only had a broken neck is kind of crazy, if you ask me. But anyway, just keep me in your thoughts, and I hope he makes it out of this okay. As far as the Xfinity race goes, and with the ARCA race, congrats to Corey Heim on getting the win. With the Xfinity race, Dillon, AJ Allmendinger, and Ryan Sieg failed pre-race inspection. They would lose pit selection at Darlington, although for Ty, it would be whoever's in the 54 next week. Nobody ends up going to the rear, and Joey Gase, unfortunately, has to start the race in the garage. His car stalls on the backstretch. He gets pushed to the pits. Apparently, they had a power issue or whatever. He would end up making it back out on the racetrack 5 laps down. Some great racing in stage 1. Wild moves, but nothing really crazy outside of an AJ Allmendinger save on coming off of turn 2 on the backstretch on the final lap. But Justin Haley took the stage 1 victory. Jeb Burton 2nd, Noah Gragson 3rd, Austin Cindric 4th, Harrison Burton 5th, AJ Allmendinger 6th, Daniel Hemrick 7th, Brandon Jones 8th, Brandon Brown 9th, and Justin Allgaier in 10th. I meant, aforementioned Allgaier save, or Allmendinger, sorry. Gragson has an extended pit stop for adjustments to get the car off the splitter. Brett Moffitt got an uncontrolled tire penalty. Greg Galding got a penalty for going through too many pit boxes. And Jeffrey Earnhardt got a penalty for crew members over the wall too soon. We get going with stage 2. Not a ton happened, but we did get a report from Chris Knight. Bailey Curry said that he thinks his car is blowing up. Reports that temps got up to about 280 degrees, just a few laps into the stage, and then he ends up going to the garage with smoke coming from the tailpipes just a few laps later. Chris Knight later reported that Jason White was slow on the front stretch. Coming to 1 to go, but they ended up finishing stage. Noah Gragson takes the win. Justin Allgaier 2nd, Austin Cindric 3rd, Brandon Jones 4th, Ty Dillon 5th, Myatt Snyder 6th, Daniel Hemrick 7th, Brett Moffitt 8th, Michael Annett 9th, and Brandon Brown 10th. And speaking of Brett Moffitt, he announced this week that he is switching over to getting Xfinity points for the remainder of the season. He originally started the season off racing for truck points. So basically what's going to happen is his truck point total resets to 0. He starts with 0 Xfinity points, but this is good for him because to do it this early. So now basically he just has to get into the top 20 in points to be playoff eligible, or he has to be in the top 20 in points to make the playoffs or whatever, eligibility and all that. I think maybe he can get a win or two, which would definitely help him out. Um, so we'll see what happens there, and best of luck to Brett going forward. I thought it was kind of weird seeing him running, not weird seeing him running full time both trucks and Xfinity, but weird seeing him not or running for truck points to start the year instead of Xfinity. Because what more does he have to prove in the truck series? Nothing much, really. So Jay Buford ends up in backwards in his pit stall off of contact with Dillon. Jason White ended up going to the garage. AJ Allmendinger had to pit a second time along with Dillon. Dillon was out for the contact with the 48 of Jay Buford. Allmendinger had to pit twice due to miscommunication with his crew chief and whatnot. So Myatt Snyder gets the lead early in stage 3. Cesar Baccarella reports that he had a tire going down. Later reported that it was a loose right front wheel. Bailey Curry's day ends with overheating issues. Jason White's day ends with suspension issues. And then we get green flag pit stops with about 40 laps to go. And, to this point, the only cautions we had seen were for the stages. There was a lot of great racing going on. I was so excited to see Joe Graf Jr. get up into the top 10 at one point, and we'll get to him in a little bit because, once again, something happened with him, and people are clowning on him for it when you really shouldn't. Again, we'll get to that in a moment. So we get the green flag pit stops. Jeffrey Earnhardt spins coming off the track, going down pit road, but he collects it. No caution. He makes it down pit road. Colby Howard gets a penalty for too fast entering. And then just after that, I think just about after the pit stops had cycled out, Josh Berry spins in the corners in 3 and 4. The caution comes out. Yeah, he had a tire that went down. He would fall a lap. Down under yellow. And then we get the restart with 34 laps to go with the Burton cousins, Harrison and Jeb up front. They swap the lead back and forth a little bit. And then we get to 29 to go, and this would end up being the final caution of the race due to the rain that came shortly thereafter and all that. So basically what happened was they're going through turns 1 and 2, then coming down to the backstretch, and in turn 2, Joe Graf Jr. had a tire had a tire that went down. He couldn't turn, and he ends up sliding up, makes contact with Michael Annett. Annett spins. He also makes contact with Brandon Jones, although Jones just right in front of the bumper of Jones. He does hit the wall, but only with the right side of the car. So I don't think he got a ton of damage. I think if they were able to race it out, he probably would have salvaged a really good finish, unless he was a lap down, which I didn't see anything about. But basically what ended up happening was Annett spun, and everybody tried to dodge, and the caution ended up, I believe Dillon hit Annett. Dillon also got hit by Brandon Jones. So basically the caution was for Dillon, Brandon Jones, Michael Annett, Joe Graf Jr., which is technically who it started with. Colby Garrett in the 26 kind of got involved. It looked close. Based on the angle, I couldn't tell if he actually got hit or not, but he kept going. And Cesar Baccarella also spun in the back or whatever. I don't think he hit anybody. I think he just spun trying to avoid somebody or whatever. Everybody else made it out okay. Again, 26 didn't look like he had much damage. Same with the 90. Graf just had some right side damage, so didn't think it was too bad. He was obviously still out there. Dillon and Jones were done. Annett had a broken shock, so he had to stay on pit road for a little bit longer to repair that. He ends up going 2 laps down. And then with just over 20 to go, as they're on the caution laps, Pop Chris reports steady rain on the backstretch. And then red flag comes out, and shortly thereafter, NASCAR calls it. It honestly sucks. And this was one of the best Talladega races in the Xfinity Series that we've seen in a while. Probably one of the best Xfinity Series races in general that we've seen in a while. And it honestly sucks how it had to end that way. I'm happy for Jeb Burton because he gets his first career Xfinity Series win, which obviously first career win, that's going to lock him into the playoffs. That's awesome, but I would have liked to have seen it race its way out. Would Burton have won if that happened? Who knows? Some were tweeting out watch NASCAR not call it, and that just be his luck. Well, they ended up calling it. The thing, and honestly, like, I understand why. Talladega is obviously a big track. I think it's the biggest one, or at least the biggest oval on the circuit. Um, it would take a while to to get the track dry. Not to mention the fact that you have to factor in sunset and the fact that Talladega doesn't have lights. So I I think NASCAR made the right decision here, but I would have liked to have seen it race out because that race was setting up to have one hell of a finish. And if they were able to get it off before the rain came, I think it would have been we would have had a crazy restart and probably could have had a big one, or something. But um, the way that race ended, some guys got some pretty good finishes, others didn't. Again, I hate it for Ty Dillon, Brandon Jones, Michael Annett, and whatever, because they were the three biggest, they were the three biggest ones that were involved with that wreck. Obviously, hate it for Joe Graf Jr. as well because he had been running like he was up in the top 20 for pretty much almost the entire race, and he had the fastest lap through the end of stage one, and it was had one of the fastest laps throughout the race for most of the time, and he he was able to get as high as like the top 5 or 6. He was in the top 10 for a while and was in the top 10 when they went to green flag pit stops with 40 to go. So he had one hell of a race. He had a lot of speed, and it's just unfortunate for him that a flat tire basically fucked him over. A combination of a flat tire and Mother Nature basically fucked him over. I think he's going to finish like 33rd, but he should have been he should have had a top 20, possibly even top 15, maybe even top 10 finish, depending on how the race could have finished out, if the race was able to finish out. And again, really hate it for Ty Dillon because I think this is his last race in the 54, unless he gets another shot at some point. Because I know Ty Gibbs is getting a bunch of more races in the 54 after he won the Daytona Road Course earlier this year. And obviously, you have the likes of Kyle Busch, Derrick Jr., and Denny Hamlin running the 54 as well. So yeah, I hate that for Ty. If that's his last race of 2021, whether it's Xfinity Series or just in general, I don't know where you go from here for him. I hope he gets another shot with somebody at some point this season, whether it's in Cup, Xfinity, or Trucks. I mean, one way or the other. I really hope he gets another shot. But if he doesn't, that's tough, man. To go from having full-time ride last year to you're not even sure if you're going to get another chance to race this season, that hurts. It really does. And, you know, so we'll have to see what happens there. But again, sucks to see Mother Nature basically put an end to what was shaping up to be one hell of a race. Um, but again, congrats to Jeb Burton on the win. Noah Gragson wins the Dash for Cash for the second week in a row, or the second race in a row, I should say. Um, and yeah, so thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. And if you did, please drop a like, subscribe for more content like this. Go check out the diecast reviews I posted recently. I've got 3 more that are going up probably tomorrow. And yeah, so again, thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. If you did, please drop a like, subscribe for more content like this. I will see you all next time. Peace.